Good morning, gang. David Gupple, Thinker Farmer here. It's August 21st, and you're looking at the fence that I showed a couple videos back about installing timeless fence posts in dry ground. And just wanted to share another few thoughts on it now that the fence is done, and I've experimented with a few things. And I love the look of a timeless fence. I'm telling you, gang, just look at that. Sorry my hands are shaking. I've been pounding posts and other things. And yeah, had a few thoughts I wanted to share. Like I said, all the posts, so I didn't experiment. All the posts that I watered in, I watered them kind of 2 or 3 times. I had the time and the heat of the day. Really, we don't do a lot of work here in South Louisiana. The heat index is 110, 115. And so for 2-3 hours, take a nap, read a book, plan or manage ahead, whatever you're going to do. So this line of posts here that you're looking at, these posts, I watered them in a few times. Not a lot of water, but just a little bit. 2 or 3 times in the evening when I wasn't doing anything else, while we were waiting for the strainers to come in, and they went in the ground great. The experiment was on the other side of the fence, and I essentially didn't water them at all because I wanted to see if it was just harder going or not. And so I had several thoughts. Number one was it was harder going, not in every place though. This post here had a lot of ground cover. It had a lot of grass, and so it went in. Overall, I didn't have to water it at all. It went in. It was difficult, but it was pretty easy. The next post, dry ground, not a lot of coverage. And most of the posts on this line were that way. So I just went ahead and watered all of them in, basically, because it was hard. The posts weren't going in, and I'm going to show you a couple things I want to show, make sure I can explain some other thoughts. One is I had a phone conversation last night with a timeless fence distributor that's a good friend of mine. Just asked him some questions, and he kind of agreed with most of my thoughts on how to make your job easier. And he manages timeless sales in a number of states in the Midwest. And he said what they do, if it gets really, really dry and you're putting in a lot of posts, they go ahead and they just get a generator. And you could use a battery drill if you didn't have many, but they get a generator, plug in a battery, not a battery, extension cord, just hammer drill, and they essentially drill out a 1/4 inch smaller than your post diameter. So for a 1.5 inch post, which is what we're putting in here, they would have done 1.25 inch bit and drill it 18 inches down, and then put your posts in. And he said that works fine. Of course, you'd have to get a generator and such. He also said that for a sleeve, it would not, to go around the pipe, if you were driving them with a front end loader, if you were putting a sleeve around this, it would not have to be metal, because it can be hard to find a metal sleeve if you go to a hardware store. It could even be PVC. Like a 2-inch sleeve will be enough to hold it straight under normal conditions. And he said if you're by yourself, you can also create your own stand, so you can operate the tractor to push them in. And so that's how he said they'd handle dry conditions, and also how you could do it by hand, by yourself, using a tractor front end loader. And so anyway, that was some pretty useful information from my buddy there. And then had a couple last thoughts on the whole fencing project here with dry conditions. So I got done with the fence, and I came to the end here, and I looked at the fence from this vantage point and realized the 3 wires, even though it's only about 10 paces between that T-post and a corner post, because of the way the light shines and the drop off, it's really hard to see the 3 wires there. And so if Grant was letting new cattle into this particular paddock and they didn't know the paddock, they could blow right through that. So I looked at it and said, you know what, I need to put another post in. I hadn't watered it in, and I didn't want to take the time to wait, so I went and got a T-post to use as a pilot hole, because I didn't, just for one post, I'm not going to get a drill and everything. I don't even know if we have a 1.25 inch bit. And so I went ahead and used that pilot hole and went down basically as deep as I possibly could, which was almost to the sill plate. So I went about 8 inches deep, as deep as I could, and actually pulled the post out. The ground was so hard that it took almost all of me to yank it out. And then I put the timeless post in, and I wailed on it, and I thought it would go. When I originally tried to just pound the timeless post in, it would just spin on me. And that's why I had to go get the T-post. Well, anyway, I kept hitting on it, and it wasn't going, and so I wanted to show y'all what can happen with a timeless fence post if, you know, the ground's really hard, and if it's not going in. Oftentimes, you can kind of see that that crack there starting to form. It's kind of hard. This is when I wish I had another person to just hold the camera. I don't know if you can see that, but it's a crack right there. It's forming across the post. It's cracked open. This post is no good. I mean, you could wire tie it, but I still had a whole foot to go in the ground. I mean, it went as deep as the T-post. It wasn't going anymore, and it just was snapping the post. What was happening, I mean, it's almost impossible for the operator to come straight down every single time, and the post wants to flex, and so it flexes to one side, and after a bunch of hits, it finally just shears there. And so I've got that timeless fence post to show Grant when he gets back. So I went, got a bucket for the last time, and just slowly letting it leak down, and now I'm going to go ahead and pound this post in. But anyway, those were my kind of final thoughts. So not only does it, and well, one other thought, and that's for those of you that don't like fiberglass posts, realize in hard, dry conditions, fiberglass posts would have just gone right in. It wouldn't have sheared off. It would have been hard. I mean, it still would have been hard to put it in, but a fiberglass post would still go. So fiberglass is hard to get a hold of, but it's when you've got good fiberglass posts, there's no reason to go with timeless. I hate to say, I mean, I say that. There's some convenience things about timeless. They're slick posts. They work great in soft conditions, but man, fiberglass is awesome for the things that it does in hard conditions. So anyway, hope that helps. Hope that gives y'all some food for thought when you're installing fence lines and such. And yeah, blessings for the journey, gang, and keep it real.